Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another ApplyBoard live session. My name is Mike Waukee, and I am a Partner Relations Manager at ApplyBoard. This week, we're speaking with Vancouver Island University, or VIU for short, about career and study options in their engineering programs. For those of you listening and watching live online, you're welcome to type in questions in the comments section, and I'll be able to pass those along to our guests. I'm joined today by two of the engineering instructors from VIU, Ken Von Schilling and Julie Lois. And at this point, I'd like to have them join me, say hello, and give a quick overview of what they do at Vancouver Island University. Ken, do you want to go first?
Sure thing. Hello, I'm Ken Von Schilling. I'm an engineering professor at Vancouver Island University. My specialization is mechanical engineering, and I'm very happy to answer any of your questions.
Thanks. Julie? Oh, Julie, you're muted.
Sorry about that. So thank you, Mike, for having us here. So my name is Shirley. You can call me Julie. I'm an engineering professor at Vancouver University. I'm just 3 weeks new, and my background was mechanical engineering. I was studying in Toronto for the past few years, and I'm so happy to join this new family. And I can't wait to tell my story. And I hope you guys enjoy today's session. And feel free to have any questions.
Great. Thanks, guys. Before we get into specifics on the engineering programs, as a way of getting started, Ken, can you give us a quick introduction on VIU in general?
You bet. Yeah, so VIU is a smaller regional school in Nanaimo, British Columbia. We're classified as a teaching university. So the difference there is that our instructors generally are not conducting research. We're here to teach. And that means all of our focus is on student experience and creating a good learning environment for our students.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Julia, you mentioned that you just moved to Nanaimo a few weeks ago. What would you say is the appeal of the city?
Well, speak of the city itself, I will comment on it's convenient enough, but less overwhelming like cities like Toronto or Vancouver. And this is really good for me because I feel like, okay, this is a place I can actually focus on my career development and I can just work on the things I'm passionate about. I think this is also applicable for students who enjoy nature environment and looking for a quiet, less expensive, and supportive learning environment.
Yeah, Nanaimo is great. I've been there a number of times just this summer alone, and there's so much to do. It gives you so much access to, like you said, a lot of outdoor activities if students are interested in that. We're going to be talking today about the two kinds of programs at the engineering department at VIU. You have pathways to a more traditional engineering degree, and you have your integrated engineering technologist diploma, which is where we'll get started. Ken, can you explain the difference between an engineer and a technologist?
Yes, I can. So an engineer, it's kind of difficult to explain, but I guess a good analogy is the difference between a doctor and a nurse, say. An engineer will be more focused on the design calculations and the theoretical basis behind engineering problem solving. And the technologist is generally the person that takes the design from a high level that the engineer would create and turn it into reality. So I guess the main difference is where their expertise lies in engineering project completion. So engineers tend to be more on the theoretical side, the project management, the design calculations, specifying equipment, where the technologist would do the actual drawings. They would specify specific components that would be involved in the engineering design and create the construction drawings and whatnot.
Okay, so it sounds like it's much more hands-on and
Yes.
maybe less theoretical. Interesting.
Yeah, technologist role tends to be a lot more hands-on and reality-based than abstract problem solving. Yeah.
That's important. Julie, what is the Integrated Engineering Technologist program at VIU like? I know it's a 28-month undergraduate program, but what kind of students are suitable for this program? What do they study and what kind of career options are available to them when they finish?
Okay, so I think this also linked to why I joined this program. So because I think this program actually addressed the job market, we start to notice there is a lot of requirement or needs on the engineering job that not really looking for students graduate from one single discipline. They actually want students have like comprehensive background in multiple discipline in engineering area. So in this program, student will get experience on topics include civil engineering, mechanical engineering, and electrical engineering. So with those hands-on experience and the practical knowledge that student learned in the aspect like computer ad design and mechanical, civil, electrical principal design, and student will be able to fit into the new job market trends that require for like an integrated engineering background.
Okay. With the focus on employability, can I ask, is there a co-op component to the program?
Yes, we do.
And what is that like?
I think Ken can comment on that a lot.
You bet. Yes. So we work. VIU has a co-op group within the administration, and we work with local engineering firms to try and get summer jobs essentially for our students, so they can get hands-on work experience throughout their schooling.
Great.
Yeah.
Julie, what inspired you to go into teaching engineering at VIU? And could you sort of describe what happens in a classroom at VIU in this program? Is it lecture-based? Is it project-based? What's it actually like day to day for the students?
The teaching plan at VIU is kind of not really like the other university. Over here, we have less students, which means we have small class size. For our technologist program, we commit to have a really small size of student, maximum to 24. And during the class, we actually will be able to like pay more attention to our individual student. And instead of giving like pure lecture, we actually combine all the project and like class activity with practical problem. For example, doing the computer ad design, we are not just giving students like guideline about, okay, how to use the software. We actually will bring real project or simplified project from the engineering world and to ask students join the design during the whole semester. So that means after the whole semester, they actually learn how to build a project from scratch.
Oh, that sounds cool. And then looking at the more traditional engineering programs, I know, so what are the engineering pathways at VIU? I know that these are again targeting undergraduate students, so students who have just finished high school, but how do the pathways work and what is the difference between the two pathway options that you have?
You bet. One, it's not just targeting students leaving high school. We also like to have mature students join us. We have two engineering pathways. There's an engineering, we call them the engineering certificate and the engineering transfer diploma. They're essentially the same courses. The certificate, I believe, is 1 year intensive, and this is basically it's the common first year curriculum for all of British Columbia. So any school in BC that you go to, you'll take the same first year curriculum. It doesn't matter what type of engineer you'd like to be. You can do that here at VIU and then transfer to UBC and UVic and Simon Fraser University, Thompson Rivers University, and I believe even University of Alberta. And then for some students, they're just coming back to school or they want to take a slightly easier route through first year. They can do the engineering transfer diploma, and we basically, it's an easier first year. I believe it's only 10 courses instead of 11. It might even be, I'd have to pull up the numbers to be honest with you. It's an easier first year, and then they can finish the first year in a second year and also take some of the second year courses at VIU that they would take at their receiving university, which would generally be UVic. So that's the two engineering transfer programs.
So if I understand you correctly, what you're saying is the difference is really how much further along towards the completion of the degree do you want to get? You can either just do the 1-year program and get that far, or you can do the 2-year program, which gives you a couple of the second-year credits once you eventually transfer.
That's correct. Although I should note that if you want to go to UBC, you have to do the 1-year transfer program. They have a stricter transfer agreement with us. So UVic will take the transfer diploma, but UBC will only take the transfer certificate.
Okay.
So there is a little bit of
consideration
there. Yeah.
And so there is no, students don't finish an engineering degree at VIU. This is really a pathway program. They're only doing the first year or the first year plus a couple second-year pro classes, and then they're transferring on to another institution to complete their degrees. You mentioned some of them again. Do you mind repeating again the universities where most of the students go to complete their engineering degree?
You bet. Yeah. Most of our students either go to UBC, the Vancouver campus. They can also go to the UBC Okanagan campus. There's the University of Victoria, Thompson Rivers University, and University of Alberta, and Simon Fraser University, which is in Burnaby.
Great. Yeah. So those are all the major engineering programs in the province of British Columbia.
That's correct. Yeah.
That's excellent. And I know there is a guaranteed admission. So this is something that students are going to be really interested in. They're always concerned about it when they're doing a pathway.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're starting with you in a pathway, they want to be sure that they're going to be able to get into, one of those destination universities that you mentioned.
Yes.
Can you explain how does the guaranteed admission work?
Essentially, if you finish all of your courses there's the caveat of grades, obviously. If you finish all your courses with high enough grades, you are guaranteed admission into the receiving universities. So there is also generally a caveat there that the higher your grades are, the more choice you have in which discipline of engineering you get into at the receiving universities. So my understanding is the mechanical engineering and software engineering at UVic, say, they fill up faster than electrical engineering does their civil engineering. So if you want guaranteed access to those, you need to get the higher grades. But yeah,
okay.
If you pass all your courses with sufficient grades, you're guaranteed admission.
Got it. So students who get a minimum GPA in their courses with you are guaranteed a seat at one of these other universities that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And if they score high enough, they'll be able to compete for a seat in, the most in demand and their top choices of focus area.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Ken, I know that you had a long work history before you went into instructing. How does that influence your teaching?
That does influence my teaching quite a bit. I do not come from an academic background. I worked for approximately 10 years in the consulting industries in BC. So working in oil and gas, wastewater treatment, pulp and paper, and a variety of other different types of projects. My teaching style is I try and impart in the students' mindset and basic kind of soft skills for how to tackle an engineering career from the perspective of a new graduate. You come out, a lot of the theory behind how things work and how things are put together and all this kind of stuff. But the engineering project and the way that they're done in industry is a bit different than how things are generally taught in university. And you come out, you're basically being put into a completely new environment. So I try and teach my students how to interact with that new environment in a way that they're going to impress their employers and essentially be useful from day one, rather than just being lost and requiring a lot of training at the beginning.
Yeah. Employability is a big concern for our students, international students, as you know, coming to study in Canada it's a big investment. It's a big investment for their family, both in time and money. Julie, can you talk a bit about sort of what the employment situation is like, maybe in the Vancouver Island area, or, coming out of the Technologist Diploma program, what kind of careers would students be looking at?
Okay, so at Vancouver Island, we actually have a lot of engineering-related industry. So we have our program actually have a really intensive engagement with the local industry partners as well. So that means that our student actually will directly be noticed by the local industry. And with our technologist program, that means students actually spend less year in school, and it's actually sooner for them to get into the job market. Along with that, the integrated engineering program actually equip our student with the strong background in a multidisciplinary engineering academic background. And along with that, we actually offer our student a lot of practical experience. We actually schedule like BioWeek field trip to like the local industry site for a visit. So that means student actually will learn a lot about the local industry in that way.
Great, thank you. We do have a question in the chat box. This is a very common question that we get when presenting to international students. They're wondering about the availability of scholarships for international students for these programs.
Oh, that is a great question. It would be best if that was sent to me in an email and I can follow up on it. I actually am not that versed in our scholarships at the moment, so or our financial services. I haven't had to deal with that too much. I know there are scholarships. I'm just not sure exactly what the breakdown is, to be perfectly
Sure.
honest.
Maybe we can have a look at your website afterwards. I'm sure that you have what scholarship information there is
Yes.
would be on
Yeah.
your website, and we can maybe share that with our audience.
Mhm.
Okay. Just as we're wrapping up, Ken, is there anything that you would say to sort of convince someone why they should choose engineering at VIU?
Yeah, I think our passion for teaching is a big motivator. I remember when I first I did my undergrad at University of Victoria, showing up for my first class and sitting in a lecture hall with 200 other students and just feeling like I was lost in a crowd. Our current intake, I believe for this year, is about 42 students into our first year. So you get a lot more interaction with the instructors. You can actually get a bit of a personal relationship with myself, with Julie, with our other instructors, and we can help to foster any engineering passions that you might have. And we have a nice wide variety of experience here as well. I think the main selling point is that it's more of a hands-on and student-focused university. We also do have the options, right? We have our 2 transfer diplomas, and if a student comes in and decides, hey, I'm not sure if I want to be an engineer, if I want to be a technologist, they can do the first-year transfer program while exploring those 2 options and then make the choice as to whether or not they want to do the technologist diploma or transfer out to complete an engineering degree. So you're not really locked in to a path as well. So for students that might be on the fence, which way they want to go it's a good option.
Great. I think that's very helpful. Julie, I'll give you the last word. Anything else you would tell a prospective student about why they should choose VIU in Nanaimo?
Well, I will see Nanaimo itself as a beautiful city, like I mentioned in the very beginning. So it's a less overwhelming city and convenient enough. And I will say it's less expensive, which could be the key for students for sure. And additionally, like Ken mentioned, we do have a lot of scholarship in general from the university. And in our department, we also trying to explore more programs that can help our students, like offer some like internal call-up opportunity for our students. So those are the options are on the way. So I hope those can actually attract our future students that, okay, I will get a hands-on experience in this department. Meantime, I actually can earn some money. So I think this could be the selling point I want to mention here.
Great, thank you both. Like I said, I'm quite familiar with Nanaimo and Vancouver Island. I think you have a really nice location, and I'm a big fan of the smaller teaching style universities. So I think it's a great option for international students who are coming abroad to Canada. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Julie, for your time this morning to talk about VIU and the engineering pathways. Just to wrap up, I invite our listeners to follow, subscribe, and like our YouTube channels. And with that, I think we're done. Thank you very much again.